Ukraine just did something that's going to change everything we thought we knew about the timeline for military AI. December 2025, a defense startup called Circus Defense rolled out fully autonomous robots that are right now navigating active combat zones in Ukraine, delivering ammunition, food, and medical supplies to troops under fire. No remote control, no human operator with a joystick. These machines are making their own decisions in real time. Now look, we've all been hearing about military drones for years. They're everywhere at this point, but drones have a pretty hard limit. They fly, they scout, sometimes they strike. What they can't do is move with soldiers on the ground, haul gear through rubble, or adapt when the terrain goes completely sideways. That's the gap these robots are filling, and it's happening way faster than anyone predicted. Here's what makes this different. These aren't machines following some pre-programmed GPS route. They're running embodied AI systems that learn and adapt on the fly. They're reading terrain, avoiding incoming threats, coordinating with human soldiers in the field. We're talking about behaviors that defense analysts were saying wouldn't exist outside research labs until at least 2035. That timeline just got shredded. The thing that's keeping people up at night isn't the supply runs. It's what comes next. A robot that autonomously delivers supplies today can be armed tomorrow. A robot that learns to avoid gunfire can be programmed to return fire just as easily. The jump from logistics to lethal force is not some massive technical leap. It's more like a software update. And once that capability exists, militaries are going to use it. That's just how this works. Ukraine isn't operating in a vacuum here. Intelligence reports are showing that China and the United States are both racing to field their own battlefield robots. We're not talking about a future arms race. This is happening right now. The competition isn't about who has more nukes or better cyber weapons anymore. It's about who can deploy AI-controlled machines that operate faster than human reaction time. Which brings us to the really uncomfortable questions. Who's responsible when an autonomous robot makes a mistake? What happens if it misidentifies a civilian as a combatant? Can international law, which moves at the speed of diplomacy, possibly keep pace with machines that make decisions in milliseconds? These aren't thought experiments. These are operational risks that military planners are dealing with today. You'll hear some experts say autonomous robots could actually save lives by removing humans from dangerous supply missions. And sure, there's logic there. But the counter-argument is pretty compelling. Once militaries trust robots with critical logistics, the pressure to push them into offensive roles becomes overwhelming. And when that line gets crossed, the distinction between human judgment and machine execution starts to disappear. What's really striking is how fast this timeline collapsed. Just 6 months ago, the consensus among defense analysts was that battlefield robots were 10 years out, minimum. Now they're operational in an active war zone. And if you look at how military technology diffuses, this is going to spread fast. Think about drones. Early 2000s, they were rare and controversial. By 2010, they were standard issue. By 2020, they were ubiquitous. That same adoption curve is going to apply here. What's a niche experiment in Ukraine in 2025 could be the global standard by 2028 or 2029. But here's the part that should really concern you. This technology isn't going to stay confined to battlefields. The same autonomous systems being deployed in Ukraine can be adapted for policing, border enforcement, private security. We're talking about machines patrolling city streets, making split-second threat assessments without human oversight. The potential for misuse isn't hypothetical. It's inevitable once the technology exists at scale. That's why you're seeing so many analysts sounding alarms right now. Autonomous battlefield robots aren't just another incremental upgrade in military hardware. They represent a structural shift in how wars are fought, how force is projected, and how control is exercised. Ukraine's deployment is essentially a proof of concept that the future everyone thought was distant is actually here. And China and the US are watching closely. Both countries are accelerating their own programs. The competition is just getting started. When these robots get paired with the next generation of AI models, the ones with actual reasoning capabilities, not just pattern matching, that's when the real arms race kicks into high gear. The timeline for military AI just got rewritten, and most people still think this is science fiction.